Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes!
Let's nearly get knocked flat together, I suppose.
Yeah, using that power nearly knocked you flat, even though I really didn't see anything. I really wasn't sure what was going on, but it nearly knocked you flat. Let's go with that.
Was it using the power that nearly knocked me flat, or the power that was used against me that nearly knocked me flat?
That's just the power, generically. Power existing. I just assume you're in the middle of it no matter where you are. So how are you going to use that on the devil without hurting yourself?
I didn't think it was me using my power that hurt me. I thought it was the backlash of the chains and whatever was in them, of them, they were made of, flowing through them, I guess.
There was more than one chain.
Using that power where you summoned a tiny link of chain in front of Valdemar.
Exactly. There was more chains? Oh, you did more chains! I thought you had, like, one little, like, linky-dink
like
in your
bits
hand.
of chain in your head.
A little bitty for you.
Yeah, it's like,
It's
what he
beautiful.
could see, it's amazing. All right.
That's fabulous. Aye.
I don't know. Yes, I don't even know how it worked. I don't fully understand this power yet. Wait, we expect to fully understand this power? The entire time! I don't know magic. To the arts of magic, and I have been studying them for 3 years, even though the first full year I was basically learning to exist as a coherent person with language and movement at all, as infants do. But that's fine. I was totally learning magic during that time too, and honestly, that's not unreasonable, because kids observing adults, even from what I've learned in like human growth and development psychology,
Right.
really is they pick up everything they start doing, including more coordinated movements and such, from the people around them, and that's how they move from infancy to childhood in the sort of developmental landmarks they're supposed to make, is through interactions and understandings with other people, and then understanding their own body in reference to that.
Right.
Anyway, I don't fully understand this power yet. Ominously, I say. Wow.
Oh, we have changed the font. Has
Is
Sans
this death?
entered?
I was gonna say, this is the dingly sound, and death sounded like bells last time. Is this death?
It might be
It
Death.
might be death.
Oh no, do you want to play Death? You want me to play
God,
Death?
I don't know.
Depending
I'm kind of
also
just
on
like,
who the hell this is, because we haven't changed
we have
fonts before this
right?
entire time. This is completely new for
I'm
every
just
single person.
picturing this charming Neil Gaiman's death swinging in, going, "Hi, honey, are you okay? Let me help."
Oh god, he's so dark and angsty and such a fucking mess.
Death.
Oh, thank God! Sorry, my brain went
His older sister,
dream.
Death.
I'm sorry. Death is so good. You could do Death.
All
That's
right,
fine.
so perhaps I can be of assistance. I jump like I've been doused with cold water. That's very specific. Very specific. It takes me a moment to register that it's not Valdemar's voice. I would tend to say, given that was a font change, that was wildly different than Valdemar's voice.
I have a thing that to do for you. I could help in the thing in for you.
But Julian and I are still alone in the shop. Who spoke? The salamander. Me. Bleh.
I love you.
The snow is speaking to me. We just look back at the counter. It's in the snow. It's fine. Have I startled you? The words seem to come from everywhere at once, backed by a strange, crystalline echo. It's strangely familiar. Oh, I know. You must be uncomfortable. Is it the realm? I always forget how easily your meat shells get cold.
I'm so
we have our bodies back. Does that mean Lucia just was like, I had a body for an hour, and then it was gone?
Honestly, I will be disappointed if they completely fucking forgot that we don't have a body.
I mean, or if we've actually received them back at this point.
And they haven't really been very clear about it or very explicit about it at all. Like, I am...
This seems pretty explicit. You are in your bodies again.
But this is also like, this is Death's realm, so you don't have a body. Remember how Valdemar said that I'm curious to attack, so basically kill someone who doesn't have a body? Who's been separate? Like, this doesn't, we don't have a body.
Yeah.
This doesn't work.
Valdemar literally did say that we didn't have our bodies and would be curious to kill us without the body.
This doesn't work.
And why meat shells? So, yeah. Thank you. Good catch. Because I was a little bit confused, but I didn't know what I wasn't catching.
Also, it's kind of the thing of going, like, Death. I'm disappointed because I really like the idea of, like, Neil Gaiman's Death. And if you guys don't know about Neil Gaiman's Death is fantastic and loves human beings. Like,
she's charming, warm, friendly goth mom.
She really is, and she's Fabu. And I'm like, no, Goth Mom would not be like, your poor meat shells. I'm like, no.
She wouldn't. I was saying, and obviously we can't appropriate someone else's character and pull them into here, but if we've got this tinkling, sparkly, different voice that's not sinister, I'm like, friendly, warm Death.
Yeah,
We're
why
definitely not in Terry Pratchett's Death World.
No, except that death is hilarious. So
Yeah, but still also not sort of warm and friendly, though, even though he's funny.
Yeah, yes.
Alright.
The epitome of dry, sarcastic humor.
This is the Hogfather, I don't know.
It could be the Hogfather. Let's do it.
Allow me to take you somewhere more comfortable.
Hang on, wait, just a sec. Hold up.
Foosh! It's the Russian cat comes in, the meme cat. Foosh! Gone.
That'd be so good.
So good. All right. The snowed-in shop blurs around us. Vertigo makes my head spin again. I'd just gotten over my vertigo,
again,
a couple minutes ago.
Vertigo blows. Please
And then
don't
I was all
have it.
in pain, and then I was all wobbly jelly because my muscles were all worn out from what seemed like an electric shock. And now back to vertigo. This is a ride. And Julian wraps his arm around my waist for support.
He has to lean down because our character is so fucking short. I'm so happy that I'm just like, you guys are like, everybody's enormous. I'm like, that means that everybody else is tall and they all have to lean over very specifically to hold on to us.
I love this, where they really are. They frame you in the beginning of the story as being short because absolutely everyone but Pasha looks down to you.
Yeah.
Okay, they all look down at you.
Everyone.
So, regardless of the height of your of how blank they want to leave the slate for your character, they tell you you're shorter than everyone else.
Yep.
And so we're like, we must be real short. So Nerd is about 5 foot even. Like 5 foot exactly. And then there's this experience of Julian, who's almost 6 feet, right around there.
Isn't he like 6'2"?
Somewhere in there. I'm not sure. He's tall though. He's tall compared to that. It's a number of inches, close to a foot.
It's not something that we naturally learn over the course of the game, so who the fuck knows?
Right.
And I understand, I know that they've released how tall they are and they've explained it kind of thing.
But it's not in the game!
It's, as far as I know, and even if it's off on the side stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna say this again. I think it's a shame, honestly, that they didn't integrate basically character details into the story. Like, that would be so much. Like, you could highlight
cool.
the words in the way that they do in Zelda of being like, this stuff is important or interesting to know.
And the thing is like, I've seen things where the character profile starts all in question marks, and then as you learn them through the game narrative, those unlock to things, so you can go check the knowledge you've learned before.
Right, and so
like,
you can
it would have been sort of fun. But at the same, and it would have just been like going into Nerd's current memories.
And also, it might have been neat in regards to some of your choices, just to have choices that were literally based off of, do you kind of remember what the character you're romancing likes?
Right, or who they are, or what they told
Right.
you. I would say, but I think it's this interesting thing of just going, since you told us we were short, we leaned into it. And now it's like, Julian, he puts his arm around your waist. You mean he just like swings his arm out and puts a hand on our waist? Pep? Because otherwise he has to squat to get that elbow bend and arm around.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of him constantly squatting to put his arm around our waist.
Oh, yes, beautiful. It's tiny. Perfect.
Us also, you really go to lengths for this thing. Him walking around with his knees bent in half, arm around our waist. It's fine.
I'm getting a good exercise. It makes me crump a little bit, but I'm fine.
You have amazing thighs, sir. Yes!
Yes!
That's why I wear these boots, to highlight
I
them.
don't have a butt, but I do have thighs.
Oh my god. Alright, the snow around my waist for support.
Okay.
Oh god, to a desert! Ah yes! If the humans that I assume have flesh suits, which we've already confirmed don't have flesh suits, unless Valdemar was wrong and could not understand whether or not they have flesh suits, we're cold, take them somewhere blazing!
And also, again, Nerd very specifically already, so the character, just the main character experience, already says explicitly, knowing that this is the magical realm. The stuff only means things if you attach to them. So like the thing of breathing underwater, you could just do that, like when we went to the Hangman's realm. This seems ridiculous.
Yeah. Why would we
instantly forgot.
I was gonna say, why would the cold bother us at all? Again, I mean, I just did use that underwater thing of going, Julian, you know, if you don't think it does, it doesn't.
Yep.
Alright, the sun beats mercilessly down on us. Its harsh rays and almost tangible weight on my shoulders. Death. When did I get a body? Because the narration says I don't have one. Or that Valdemar's wrong, which feels weird. Valdemar, of all things, cares about bodies, flesh, and anatomy, so you'd think they'd be able to recognize one when they see one, and they said it wasn't there.
I'm really preoccupied. I just like the fleshy, squishy bit.
I say, Valdemar going, you have no body. Oh, you're wrong. By the way, this is a body. How did I not know? No.
My kink.
Scorched sand and cracked boulders stretch endlessly in all directions. Scraggly cacti cling tenaciously to life. That is very specific. Are we really familiar with cacti and what they look like when they're barely surviving?
I'm also like, have we been out in the desert often at all? Because I thought Asser always left us behind.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but that seems... I mean, clearly we had books and learning and stuff. We understand herbs and things like that, so...
Okay, Part of me actually wonders, so there was an interesting thing that somebody proposed in relation to why so many main characters are young.
Okay.
And I wonder if this is sort of the same thing they're doing here, of being like, your character is basically implied to be in some way kind of young. Because we, as basically consumers of media and consumers of stories in particular, really do seem to have this thing of going, if it's a child and a child makes a bunch of mistakes, we are way more inclined to basically give them the benefit of the doubt.
To be forgiving of ignorance and of misstep.
Kids are allowed to be impulsive and headstrong and make all these things, but when you're an adult, you're really not allowed to. And it's very frustrating. It's a thing that I think both my friend and myself have actually struggled really heavily with, of going like, when you say you don't know what's going on, people think you're crazy in some circles. Like going like, well, you have to know what's going on. You're an adult. No, I don't.
It does seem like after a certain age, in my experience, that people go, yeah, now you should have learned this thing by now. And you're like, but I didn't. And then that doesn't mean that anyone then teaches you. They just go, next time it runs into the same thing. I'm thinking work environments here. They go, why don't you know this thing? And you're going, I still don't know it because I still haven't been able to learn it. And you're not engaging with it. Well, if you haven't learned it by now, you never will. I'm like, if I haven't learned it by the time I'm 20, I never will, which is not my exact age right now, but that was when that happened, Right. And just going, So, are you warmer?
A little too warm. Kanya! Jesus, Keanu, the extremes!
We went to,
Mother Mary and Jesus boner, like, what the shit?
It's about 40 degrees in here, Fahrenheit. So, chilly, but you're wearing a lot of clothes. And except for, I love the idea that nerds switched back to their standard uniform, and then he was just like, no, I am the masquerade.
Honestly, it's sort of funny.
It's sort of hilarious.
That he's like, no, this is my identity.
This is who I am.
I kin with this.
I was going to say, and there's this experience of them going, oh, I better move you to like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This would be perfect.
Perfect.
And you're going, whoa.
My dude.
Say no more. I know just the place to put you at ease.
Wait, just a second. Can you just wait? Shush!
Push. Another whoosh.
Can you let nerds here pick where to go? Is that a thing you can do?
Whoosh, looming in the sky, freezes. Oh? That would be simpler, wouldn't it? Very well. Where would you like to go? Portia's Cottage, the Rowdy Raven. Oh my god, those are the only choices? Well, Portia's Cottage is where I'm going, because the Rowdy Raven is, in my opinion, more likely to be full of people, but also a much wider experience, but also, I don't know, Portia's Cottage feels familiar and homey, and I don't see why this is an important choice if there's only two options.
Yeah, right?
Portia's Cottage? Describe it for me, would you? Oh dear, you're gonna have to make this up from scratch based on what I say.
I told you, we're in a magical realm. We don't have meat suits.
We shouldn't have our bodies at all.
This doesn't make any sense to me.
It feels like it's been forever since I've seen Portia's Cottage. Yet the memory shines clearly in my mind.
And I will have a perfect description that in no way will be misinterpreted at all. Honestly, if this assumed death character misinterprets this, I will laugh my butt off.
I will love that. I will think it would be great. Nerd going, well, it's warm and it's homey and it's a small building and it's in the middle of a garden and this, and then going, okay, poof! And it's basically your Amelia Bedelia interpretation of what we said.
Yes!
If you don't know Amelia Bedelia,
you are missing out.
Sorry. Look her up, read even 3 sentences of what she says and how she responds to things. You'll get exactly what I'm talking about.
It's
fine. All right, it's fine. All right, so, yet the memory shines clearly in my mind. Do we have problems with our current memory? Why would we be surprised by that at all?
Feels like it's forever.
Feels like it's been forever, but it actually hasn't. Yet the memory shines.
Oh, God.
All right. It's warm and quiet and peaceful. Like this desert, which is warm and quiet and peaceful.
Oh, Jesus.
There's sunshine through the windows and clean white linen, the smell of fresh flowers. So you decide describing, oh my god, I'm waiting for this.
Fine.
There's a garden outside, tools against the wall, the sound of birds. Here come the birds. I love the birds. Just listening to the birds for a second, that was great. As I describe it, the realm around us begins to reshape itself, slowly forming walls and furniture. It's one of those moments like in Inception where the walls just fold up and the sand drops to the ground and turns into, wallpaper behind it and then carpet on the floor and whatever. Holy shit, you got it right.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
How did? Still the pillow in the window I'm very curious about.
But you didn't mention Peppy.
No.
I keep reading. Okay.
It's okay. It looks just like the real thing. from the tools leaning against the wall to Peppy curled up asleep on the couch. Why is Peppy here in the realm of death? Oh God, I need to say, Posh, I'm so sorry about your cat!
I murdered your cat, Death. No, I mean, cats just sort of stroll in and out here. It's fine.
Yeah, no, they just move between the worlds. I just borrowed them. Is that fine? It's fine.
Oh,
I think
God.
it's fine. Is that fine?
It's fine.
I should ask Astra about this. I half expect Portia herself to come bustling in to greet us, because she doesn't walk, she bustles.
Ah, much better. Good choice, nerd. Whew.
Yeah, I also don't want
Holy
you
shit.
trying to drink in your not body in the imaginary Rowdy Raven. That would be bad.
Ratty Raiden.
Rowdy Raven. Oh dear. Ah! Peppy perts, ears perking, then gets up, stretches, and turns to look at us. I desperately want to pet the fake cat. So bad that I assume is fake. Maybe real. Maybe wandered in from out there.
Oh.
She peeps, demandingly at Julian, until he stoops and picks her up, cradling her against himself. Yay! He'll hold her this time. Hopefully he won't yeet her off into the distance this time.
Well, he stopped holding us, by the way.
Also,
At
his
some
arm's
point.
not around our waist anymore, I assume. Well, you don't have to describe every possible movement, but I'm just like, when did he let go of us, actually? When it got so hot that he went, oh God, I'm gonna die.
He went, ugh, sweats instantly. I am
sweating.
the Titanic!
Lets go of us going, whoa.
Whoa.
Absent-mindedly, he scratches behind her ears, looking around.
Hello? Mystery voice? Are you still there?
I'm right here. Oh, yes! That is exactly what Neil Gaiman's death would do, just be the cat. That would be so perfect. I would say, that, if this actually is Peppy, though, I'm going to die laughing.
I will.
Stop! This is the cat! Throws the cat into the ceiling. Cat sticks to the ceiling. Excuse you.
Hi.
Whoa.
Oh, is that normal?
Yes! Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, I kind of love it. Julian instinctively flings the cat away from him. Oh dear. But they land on their feet, shaking themselves all over and looking vaguely indignant. Appropriate.
Excuse you?
If you flung me, I would feel the same way.
Who are you, anyways?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Excuse you.
Hi.
I am Death.
Oh.
Oh.
Aw.
Me. Can I pet you? You look really soft. I appreciate that. Like, you seemed fine being held. I could hold you? Is that fine? That seems like a thing. I thought this shape would put you at ease. This is exactly like that, Death. I love it. She is so like this. Do humans not find small feline companions appealing? Let alone this very specific one that you should be familiar with? So it sounds like, you know, this familiar shape of this familiar cat might have been better rather than random feline companion that happens to look exactly like Peppy? Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. On the other hand, they might have just picked up the energy of the room that they were creating and your memory and gone, oh, there's a feline shape here. I will pick it up.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm. This one in particular should be familiar to both of you. I assume she would be comforting.
Well, she is.
I mean,
just not when you're fucking talking to me.
Immediately scoop her up and dig my gloves into her fur, but you know.
Hey. Damn, man.
Peppy, if he ever pets them without his gloves on, confusion. The heads are wrong.
Oh dear, I must sniff you.
And humans prefer to speak to someone with a physical form, don't they?
Oh, so we're saying Death doesn't have a physical form. That's fascinating. Yes, that's right, but cats don't dance. I mean, talk.
Clearly.
Talk.
He has never been in, any cartoon ever.
Never. Never.
Never. I would say you've never played off either. You are completely deprived.
Also, you have completely missed out in regards to, I imagine that somebody probably in this world of, non-committal magic has spoken to animals and the animals have talked. But again, if he's not interested in magic, it would make sense as why he doesn't know.
I mean, Faust essentially speaks.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. And I have noticed that they all have little buddies that follow them, though.
I was going to say, Astra understands Faust, ostensibly. Like, they can actually speak to each other. So, I don't know. Anyway, it seems like animals can sort of talk.
Yeah, at least I don't think they do. I've never heard them talk anyways. I mean, we had that whole thing with Malak and the Faust, where they were talking to each other.
Yes.
You know, and then Astra was talking to Faust because he couldn't talk to Malak.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And so, yeah, Julian hasn't heard them speak, but he understands that they speak to other people, because dating Astra, you'd have to understand that. Yeah, and all the time I was involved with Astra, I never understood that he talked to a snake.
So I just sort of thought he'd hallucinated off, going, "Hey, do you want kisses?"
Thought he was talking to himself, you know, and pretending to, I just thought he was having one-sided conversations.
It's fine.
I do like this awareness, though, this openness of, at least I've never heard them, this allowance for that possibility.
Right.
What a peculiar and arbitrary limitation. I don't know why they'd hold themselves to it. That's so good. As a god going, if you all speak, the animals around you must just have a harder time without speaking. Why would they maintain that? Animals suddenly, I don't have to be oppressed because I can't speak. Shit, I'm speaking my mind immediately.
I immediately become Toy Story.
Oh, God.
What happened to you? Anyways, why didn't you help us earlier? Dude?
What? What? In what way?
In what way, shape, or form does any of the Arcana have to help you?
Right? Or why would you expect that they were going to help you?
At all.
Like...
Excuse me? That's assumptive.
Even the star wasn't necessarily super helpful, so much as just friendly and conversational.
Yeah. The star was a little bit more of like, I'm sort of a mischievous shit, and that's
definitely
fine.
the magician was not helpful. The tower was utterly unhelpful and was just an obstacle.
Yeah.
So the expectation that, why did you help us earlier? What makes you think that they would have any reason to?
I'm also like, again, that whole idea of going like, the only one that I know that probably knows how to talk to all of them at all, to me, would just be Astra. Nobody else really has a relationship with them at all.
I'm going to argue that the Sphinx is lying down, not sitting.
Yes.
The Sphinx statue is lying down.
And
that's what we're referring to.
Yes.
All right. Death leaps onto a chair and sits Sphinx-like, staring unblinkingly at us.
There's also the thing too that I love the implication that you know what a Sphinx is.
Yes.
Sits Sphinx-like implies the knowledge of there are Sphinxes in this world.
And that's what I was going to say, too, is going, okay, 1, does Egypt exist here and there's Sphinx statues? 2, is there a mythology about Sphinxes and where does it come from? Or 3, are there actual Sphinxes and you have mythological creatures in here?
That would be so cool.
I am interested in how we come up with the Sphinx-like definition, and because, again, mythology doesn't come from nowhere. Do we have Egyptians? Because I think that's where that mythology comes from, and then it's extrapolated to other places, though I know other mythos have things like Lamia and such that are similar to Sphinxes.
Well, I mean, like, they do quite literally have, remember the Sphinx that gave all the riddles? That wasn't Egyptian at all. That was Grecian or Roman.
I was going to say, there's also Grecian, so do we have Greece here?
Like,
there's several different,
But it's also, cultures share images in mythology. They really do. They talk about actually how, specifically throughout history, where you usually watch religion, because that's what those myths were based off of, is religious beliefs, is that they traveled along the mercantile paths, where basically merchants traveled and where all the trade happened. So they would follow along where the ports were, they would follow along the big, paths where people went and had just a significant amount of trade.
So given that I had a Christian educational upbringing, and I mean the curriculum that I was homeschooled with was Christian, I never learned Greek mythology at all. I never learned anybody else's mythology, if you will, at all, because it wasn't in the Christian curriculum. So when my people that I knew started talking about Greek gods and stuff, I was like, how novel and interesting. But in that way, I never was as familiar as a lot of people that I've known are with it. However, on Roman TikTok, which is very fun, there's this one short little skit where this individual is basically like, you're coming from, Greece. Okay, and then, what god are you talking about? Oh, our god so-and-so would totally beat their ass. Kind of thing. Right. But then going, oh, well, we'll keep that part of them kind of thing.
Right.
And there was a lot of this that I read about, this sort of like adopting other gods and then changing them to fit. So you need to integrate their culture. So you take on Hera or Zeus or whatever it is, and then you shift them to fit whatever your ideologies are.
Which is also actually a really common trait in regards to when people go a-conquering, as it were. The best way that people have talked about is trying to basically incorporate the belief systems of whatever culture you've conquered into your own so that they adapt better/faster.
Yep.
So it's actually one of the things where they discussed about like what happened to Beltane and what happened to Saturnalia, and what happened to other, basically, what are considered to be, at least for my exposure, pagan holidays. They were adapted into, like, Christmas, they were adapted into things like Easter, or, you know, Harvest Festival, you know, like, all of those various things, even like Oktoberfest, or, you know, the Halloween, comes from those things.
We still celebrate your stuff, but we've changed the meaning to fit our purposes.
Yes, and it's sort of sad, because there's also been a lot of culture that's really been heavily lost. And I'm not saying, and again, my point is to say that it happens a lot, but it doesn't necessarily make it okay.
I mean, a lot of people say, you know, colonialism is, you know, hurtful and it erases things, and they're not wrong.
Yeah, they're really not.
Death leaps onto a chair and sits sphinx-like, staring unblinkingly at us. So that line, sphinx-like, that has a lot of implications for this world, and I'm curious.
Yes.
It will be clearest, I think, if I start from the beginning.
Awesome.
A very, very long time ago, the devil approached me with a plan. Interesting.
Okay.
This is the beginning. Like, this is like before the world, or... He wished to break down the barrier between our realm and yours, and allow them to merge, because he had a crush on Astra. And Astra was like, I will be the vessel for this thing and build this deck.
I'll do it. That's where Solitaire comes in. Perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
This is it. Long time ago, Solitaire has this plot. Perfect. I love it. All right.
Yes.
And allowed them to merge. He wanted to rule over an endless expanse where nothing changes and nothing ends. So excited face. Bah. I love that.
But also, isn't that... I mean, again, not saying that the tarot obviously themselves doesn't have to indicate, you know, what the Arcana actually do.
Right.
But it seems like they've tried to fit actually pretty strongly into the archetypes of the Arcana, as it were.
Of what the traditional descriptions are online,
right.
And, you know, in the books.
Yeah, based off of what I understand. But I'm like, is that actually a characteristic of, like, the Devil card itself? Where a lot of people are like, oh, it's super negative, but I'm like, the Devil card, as far as I understand, is also, like the Death card, tends to be heavily misrepresented / misused.
And I was gonna say, does it represent endlessness?
Yeah.
Like, is everything in his realm completely endless, but on Earth it changed? And he went, no, I want to make it endless and then rule over it?
Right.
That sounds interesting.
Anyway.
Such a world goes against my nature. I could not abide it, and I told the Devil as much. But was he asking your plan, going, if I go conquer it, you need to remove yourself from it, because then I could rule over it without change?
Right.
Is that what that was? I approach you with a plan to get the fuck out of my way. That's what that sounds like to me.
Here's my plan. I'm also like, that seems like the dumbest thing ever. Let me go to the one person who really, as far as I know, based off that plan, would be incredibly uninterested in it. Like,
yes.
Devil is a dumbass himbo. Like, you're like, I've got a plan. You're my neighbor. Hey, listen to my awesome plan, neighbor.
We can work together for you never to do anything that's in your nature ever again and get the hell out of my way. Wouldn't that be a great plan for us to do together as a team?
Together?
Teamwork of you yeeting the fuck out.
Goodbye! I love to watch you go!
Death, I don't.
Excuse me?
I'm not.
You're so...
How does this involve us working together? It works because I get what I want, and you help me by not doing anything.
Perfect!
I see. Maybe I don't understand. Explain that one more time.
Why don't you say it out loud?
Just listen to yourself when you speak. Death looking at the Devil. Just say it again. And listen to yourself when you speak.
Please.
That'd be so good. I love that meme. Okay. Such a world goes against my nature. I could not abide it, and I told the Devil as much. But before I could interfere, he got me out of the way with a human pawn. Astra!
In this case, Valdemar. Remember?
I know, but I was just like, I want it to be this thing of basically going, the Devil going, I had this plan, but I needed a connection to the human world. Astra's this wizard that's sort of meddling and things going, I know there's stuff over here. The veil is thin, shoving against it. How do I get over there? Him, well, if I help you, we can just split this thing. And they're like, great, and then I'll work to bind you guys to my world. That makes it really easy to pass back and forth. You just created a whole bunch of bridges. Nice.
Bah! Perfect.
Gucci. But before I could interfere, let's see with the human pawn.
Valdemar?
Was Valdemar human originally? Oh dear.
I mean, that's what he said.
Correct. So...
It's basically a thing that I don't want. I somehow got this thing that... How he did that, we will never know.
What did Valdemar want the Devil had to offer? That's what I want to know.
Right?
Valdemar had a strong connection to me, like your connection to the Hanged Man. So he used Valdemar without their consent because they were connected to death because of their fascination with death. I suppose.
That seems like a bit of a stretch to me, and I mean that actually even just for myself of going like how do you determine who does or doesn't have a strong connection? Oh, well, you have a fascination with death, so that just means you're close to death? In some cases, I've actually really liked it where some people have been like, sometimes I think that a natural process like death, or, you know, would be like, I'm actually kind of repulsed by you because I am a natural process, not I go out of my fucking way just to murderate everything.
I am a force that functions on principles. I am not a person with an agenda. And so if you're going, yes, death is fascinated with decay and change and killing things and how rot and festering and whatever, they're like, no, I am literally only that thing that happens in the moment when the life leaves the flesh.
Yep.
I am nothing else. I'm fascinated with corpses and bodies and organs. Death is my bag. Death going, none of that is me. Do.
Honestly, like for me, my brain also went, ooh, look, angst fic. Right here, where basically if you're having death going, you are tied to me and you're supposed to be a part of me, but I reject you. And can you imagine the other, like,
Valdemar,
Senpai doesn't want me, basically, which would be interesting, but that's how my brain works.
So I was going to say, that the thing is also going, okay, I can think of Valdemar's connection to death by that, the concept of I'm obsessed with, you know, basically killing and examining things that are dead. Like killing things and then examining the dead, the body of the dead, that kind of thing. Assuming that death is more attached to and connected to the corpse and the decay process rather than the experience of death, that moment of death. But what would make Julian be connected to the hangman? Because while you could argue that during his stint as an outlaw, he definitely was afraid of hanging, and so he thought about it a lot. But before that, he connected to the hangman in a fever dream of trying to cure people?
That also doesn't seem to have much to do with the hangman to me at all, other than basically going, the hangman apparently has to do with
research?
Shibari.
I was just saying, if I read about the hangman, is it connected to research and frantic desires to save people?
Right?
Is the hangman about rescue and saviorism? I don't know.
I mean, I'd have to go look them up. I haven't, again, I don't know the tarot very well. What I have is a passing, basically, experience / passing knowledge of the tarot. So
I am very interested in what makes people be connected to people, and that is what I think I need to know next in this game.
I gotta say this. I appreciate all y'all who are gonna go, let me spoil this for you. We don't know the game.
Yes.
Please.
So if any of it is ever explained in the game at all, even in every perceived route they're ever going to have, please don't tell us. We just have these questions and I want to learn them through the game.
Yes.
But also, if you have theories and you just want to be like, oh my god, I know and I wish you knew, you can totally do that.
Yeah, well, and I'm not saying don't comment. I'm just going please don't spoil it.
Yes.
But if you have even just ideas because maybe some of the questions have never been answered or nobody's really ever brought them up or they're never a thing that's addressed, sure, let's go crazy with ideas.
With
I'm fine with that.
Because I feel like that should totally be addressed. If that is the crux of the story, the people of the other realm, the Arcana being tied to this realm, that is the driving plot of this story. Everything is going on because of that. The plague seems to come out of that very thing. So then we should know what makes those connections.
Right, absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. We got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!